Today is March 2nd, 2023, and this is the Tech Layoff Report for the month of February. My name is Eric Bravo. I am a laid-off developer committed to doing these reports every month, and today there's a ton to talk about that I do not think the media is covering enough. What you don't want to do is take a drink every time I say the word layoff, because you will absolutely die. You have been warned. Cheers. Here we go. As mentioned in a previous video, Dell had laid off 6,500 employees as a result of companies not needing to purchase personal computers due to hiring freezes and employee reductions. Although Dell had the highest layoff headcount for a few weeks, as of the 24th, they were beat by the telecom giant Ericsson, who announced an 8% reduction of headcount, which would require layoffs of 8,500 employees. To give a brief overview of this giant, Ericsson provides manufacturing solutions in telecommunications and are one of the largest providers of 5G network to the world. Due to lower than expected earnings in Q4 of 2022, they have decided to cut costs by $859 million by the end of this year, which of course means laying off employees. So congratulations, Ericsson! You have taken the crown for most layoffs for the month of February. Here are the layoffs of major corporations for the month of February. We have Twitter, Telcom, Ericsson, Bijou's, DocuSign, Twilio, Yahoo, Zoom, eBay, Dell, and Rivian. Companies of interest to programmers: DigitalOcean, Udemy, GitHub, and GitLab. The total layoff count for the month of February is 47,130. Combined with the unprecedented layoffs of January, we now have a total of 154,910 for the year of 2023. This leaves us with only 86,267 remaining to surpass 2022 of about 241,176. It now seems as though the question, will we exceed 2022 numbers, has quickly changed to when will we exceed? If you had asked me, I would have said either in May or June. Of course, if it wasn't for our favorite company to hate, Meta. Despite old Zuckerberg claiming that they were not going to continue with layoffs after their last batch of headcount reductions back in November. Meta is actually in a different situation than other companies laying people off. And to be clear, yes, they did participate in overhiring during the pandemic like everyone else. But they were also working on a massive project that Mark Zuckerberg bet a huge stake in the company on the belief that people were going to transition into working full-time in virtual reality. But that definitely does not seem to be the case, with the Meta Quest Pro failing to grasp the audience it was intended to be created for. Meta has not released actual numbers of the sales, but it's not looking good on their end. Try YouTube searching Meta or Metaverse, just the words alone, and you get a flood of videos sounding the alarm on how terrible the project is going for them. At least, right at this moment, Mark Zuckerberg's Metaverse isn't so meta after all. Ooh, but here's something interesting. Looking at Meta's stock price, we can see that they were absolutely in a free fall until they announced those November layoffs. One can only guess what will happen if they confirm another round. That is not to say that all company stock prices benefit from announcing layoffs, but as we can see from this chart from Barron, it sure did for Meta, Amazon, Coinbase, and Salesforce. Moving on to what I'm calling the Taiwan story, Taiwan company TSMC is investing heavily into building fabrication plants here in the US. Let's take a listen.
Bigger and better. That's what TSMC Taiwan Semiconductor is promising with its $40 billion investment for two manufacturing fabs in Phoenix, Arizona. One is already under construction, creating 4-nanometer chips expected to be ready by 2024. The second fab should produce even more efficient wafers, or fabs, 3 nanometers by 2026 if all goes as planned. And that's roughly about 50,000 wafers per month. A fraction, though, of what is being produced in Taiwan. But the United States is determined to diversify away its production from Asia and create more advanced chips on American soil. And that also means more jobs, roughly 10,000 high-tech ones and an additional 10,000 construction jobs just over the next 4 years or so. TSMC isn't alone in its building endeavors. Intel is building out its fabs in Ohio. Micron has announced new investments. Even foreign firms like Samsung are expanding here. They are incentivized not only by the piles of subsidies coming from the state level and eventually the federal level with the CHIPS Act, but also the push from customers like Apple to diversify away from China. TSMC's presence in the United States also helps with developing new products with US-based clients like NVIDIA. It's not going to be easy. TSMC will have to deal with language barriers, procuring equipment, and finding the talent, Kelly.
Wow.
So basically, to reiterate, TSMC has procured funding from the state level of Arizona, and soon funding from Joe Biden's CHIPS Act to be able to build semiconductors here in America. It'll be a very tiny amount of production compared to what they are capable of over in Taiwan, but I guess at least it's something. These fabrication plants take a very long time to build, but hopefully with more companies receiving funding, the US will be in a better spot in regards to national security, because that is actually really what's going on here. I absolutely welcome TSMC to build here in America no matter how long it takes, because they absolutely have the superior product. Unfortunately for Intel, they're lagging behind to say the least. But they will tell you otherwise, as evident in the response to this reporter here.
And Intel, you brought them up. They have issued a statement to me about this because TSMC said they were creating the most advanced nodes. Intel is saying, no, we are also creating a 3-nanometer node as well.
I friggin' hope so, Intel, because that's not what we've been seeing on the shelves from you. I mean, I just came from Micro Center in Tustin to get this last generation AMD processor. Let me say that again. Last generation. Released in 2020 processor, which was manufactured partly in Taiwan and based on 7-nanometer architecture that operates far more efficiently. If I compare that to your newly released generation chips, Intel, I can see that the consumer product you're releasing to the public is still off of 10-nanometer architecture. So you can't blame me and many others for being skeptical.
No, we are also creating a 3-nanometer node as well.
I mean, I hope you're building 3-nanometer tech, but I'll believe it when I see it. Will Intel ever build 3-nanometer tech? Yeah, eventually, I guess. Are they just saying this in an attempt to gain more funding from the CHIPS Act? More than likely. In the meantime, Intel will probably have the revenue decline even further, so I'll be here to keep my eye out on that layoff tracker. Now, there are many questions that I'm sure you are asking yourselves. When will the tech industry be done with these layoffs? Is this a sign that other industries will also be affected? I'm committed to exploring these questions as the data comes in. So please consider subscribing if you would like to follow more tech news. Okay, I'll be taking a break from doing videos for a bit. I should be preparing for an interview coming up, but I'm working on this video. Also, I just figured out a huge issue I was having with one of my apps, so I really want to spend more time building and learning there. Plus, I want to finish building my new PC. So thank you all for your kind words, I really appreciate it. And I'll see you on the next one. This has been the Tech Layoff Report. My name is Eric Bravo, and good luck out there.